Well, we are lucky enough to be standing here with a living legend, the man that brought about true ground and pound. You were the guy. I got to tell you, I've always felt horrible because I know that I screwed up your career with the stupid rules I had to put in, taking away headbutts. It's my fault.
Yes.
You would have gone undefeated forever.
No, everybody hated me.
I loved you. I love you. I was too big. I was too pretty to give headbutts.
Yeah.
I was too pretty to throw headbutts.
Yeah.
You know that.
Never been better, John.
Good.
Great. Amazing.
You had hip surgery.
Yeah.
Is all of that good? And I know you've been sober now for what, about 8 months?
2 years, bro.
2 years.
Year and 10 months. I just throw 2 in there.
Time flies when you're old. Almost
Yeah,
78 years old. 78 now.
It's a miracle, and I'm so at peace. I'm so happy. Peace is the big thing. And Mark Coleman and patience never was a word, but I'm a calm, patient man now. Right!
I don't think that's true, by the way.
Well,
I feel like you're lying to me.
Fucking 40% of the time.
Yeah.
That's better than 0.
Yeah.
I hear you're working
The
out
only
again
time I
now.
was ever patient was when I wrestled or fought. And people don't believe me, but I was the most strategy-used motherfucker out there. Did I get hit very often, John? No. Except Pete Williams.
Hey.
One time.
You're working out again, though, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
How you feeling?
2 years sober, but really there was something missing. 12 years, absolutely nothing, John. When I walked away, nothing, except drink, smoke, Red Bulls, booze, smoke some unfiltered Marlboros, and be a bum, man. I was lost, and I had some people helping shove me down the lost way, you know what I mean? Vicious people.
I'm going to pull on the heartstrings a little bit for you and I. And we've had one of our closest friends, Phil Baroni, going through some problems right now in Mexico. Talk to me. Tell me. Look, we've been friends for a long time.
Oh,
we
stop.
spent a lot of time with Phil. What's going through your mind right now with this?
I thought about it so much in the beginning that it drove me crazy, and I actually had nightmares and shit about it. So I'm trying to distance myself from it.
Here I am bringing it up.
No, it's okay. You got to bring it up. I'm still praying for Phil. I hope he gets a fair trial, but it just sounds really ugly, and I'm not totally surprised at all.
You and I've had this conversation with John. We are not surprised. As friends, we understand. Sadly, I don't know what happened or what's going on in terms of with him, but we come up with him. He lived with me for almost 3 years, and obviously he was with you guys were all on Hammer House for a long time. Had a lot of good stuff.
Well,
but
if you're hurting, a lot of people hurting out there, Josh. I was hurting. Got help. I got help, and they taught me how to live life sober. Even on the mental side, I was down, but you can't do it alone. You got to get help, and changed my life. Taught me how to live life. Gave me this complete calmness and coolness. But it's unfortunately it's too late to get help, possibly.
Well, let me go through this real quick. So tonight, Fedor had his last fight. You fought him twice.
Yeah.
I just want to know a couple things. Give me one. Wait, before you fought him, what were your thoughts of him? When you fought him, what were your thoughts of him? And then after you fought him, what did you think of him then?
Try to remember what you said there, but
yes.
No, UFC 10. I beat up 3 dudes in one night. UFC 10, John was there, and but I remember walking out of the cage, and I said, yeah, that was pretty cool, but I knew deep down, I knew big time that I just beat up 3 dudes, and I said the Russians are coming, and sure enough, a couple years later, there's Fedor. It was so cool, man. I have nothing. The Russians, I've been infatuated with them since I was a little kid because I wanted to be an Olympic gold medalist, and those guys, I wanted to be like them fuckers. And then the Russians were coming, and there was Fedor. And not to make any excuses, but tonight reminded me of 15 years ago when that young fucker got me, beat the old man up, and I don't think Fedor was even close to being prime tonight, or even close to himself tonight. But he certainly threw a couple big haymakers. If he would have landed one, that's all it takes. I think that's what he was thinking. Let's get that knockout. And Bader looked fucking sharp. Freaking sharp. I got to quit cussing my mom already. My mom warned me. She said, Mark, please.
I'm gonna ask you this because you are a UFC Hall of Famer, but you did great work in getting people to remember someone that's very special to you, Kevin Randleman, who left us all. How much? I know you miss him still to this day, but how much did it mean to you to get him put into that Hall of Fame?
Well, yeah, I was going through a rough time when he died. I was drinking hard. I was in really, really bad shape, and it hit me hard, and I was down, and I was grouchy and sad. I was crying, but finally I got with his wife Elizabeth, and she had enough of this being down. Randleman wanted everybody. He don't want nobody crying overhead. Let's go. Let's celebrate my life, and Elizabeth got through to me. Plus I got sober. And 2 years later, I'm so blessed to have been able to spend time with that man, because there's nobody will ever be like Kevin the Monster Randleman, even though he never took me down. He was a bad motherfucker.
I figured you'd get that in there.
That's it. I don't have to lie about that shit.
So I want your overall view of the performance tonight, but not just the performance, but the actual event tonight. Give me what you thought of the event tonight.
Scott Coker's doing a hell of a job with Bellator, and I can't thank him enough for bringing me in, because this meant so much to me tonight to be at Fedor's last fight. Nobody's ever had guys like Henderson, Couture, Rampage, all these guys that were there tonight. They all wanted to come for him, and nobody's had that before that I can remember. Who else got that kind of treatment? And I wanted to be there, and Coker brought me in. And he's doing a great job with Bellator. There's plenty of room for all these organizations, because there's millions and millions of guys that want to fight now. And that's what I visualized UFC 10. I said, this is going to be the biggest sport in the world with millions of people, just like wrestling.
Well, John's been around since the conception of dirt.
Yep.
Okay, and so were you, though. Like, you were, obviously you were like in the beginning of the UFC.
I'm saying he was,
and then I was that next, I wasn't even the next generation. I was like a generation after your generation.
Yeah.
It was the generation and then me after that. But it really comes down to, are you happy where the sport is at now? Because you helped pave the way. Not just like in the UFC, but in Pride and all these other, you fought the who's who across the board. You've laid this work down. Give me how you're feeling about the sport in itself.
Exactly what I visualized UFC 10. It was going to be what it is now. How many billion-dollar-a-year company, right up there with the NFL. Eventually, someday, I see it passing the NFL and all that, because there's no limit to this, because it's worldwide. Yeah. Every country in the world, they don't play football, but they fight in every country in the world. It keeps getting better and better. As long as it keeps getting better, a little saturated down for me. But you got to deal with that when the sport gets so big. But it keeps getting better and better. All the guys, Coker, Dana White, they're all doing great jobs. And PFL, there's room for all of them, because this is the greatest sport in the world, with wrestling right behind it.
Let's talk about this.
Yeah, look at that.
What are we wearing here? Team Fedor.
Yes,
what is that?
Hey, I love Bader, but hey, Fedor, he whooped me, so you gotta want him to win. You know what I mean? But Fedor had given his away already, but his coach gave me his. It's gonna motivate me to get down a little bit in size. So
that's good.
Yeah, but I've been Russia, man. They're coming. They're here. But America rules.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Coleman, man.
The one and only.